and welcome to the Seek His Kingdom blog. Today, our episode is called Liars, Liars Everywhere. Proverbs chapter 21 verse 2 says, "Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the heart." My wife and I recently watched a Russian comedy show that left a very peculiar impression on me, specifically the main character. He's a young guy who falls in love with a girl but keeps having problems keeping his relationship with her. He ends up in many unprecedented situations, which had he been honest and sincere would have been easily overcome. Instead, he lies over and over and over again. He thinks that he will make everything better through his lies, but rather he keeps making everything worse. As I evaluated this character, I came to a sudden realization. We are all like him. Of course, most of us to a lesser extent, but we are. We aren't completely honest and sincere because we hope that through our teeny little, almost non-existent lies, we can succeed in hiding the truth. The truth is that we are very imperfect. We are afraid that if we tell the truth, the world will not like us as much as it does now. That girl that I really like won't think of me the same anymore. Those coworkers of mine will not think I'm really that good at my job, and on it goes. When we lie, we first lie to ourselves. The reason why we do this is because we don't want to believe the truth about ourselves. We don't want to come to grips with the fact that the image that we have created of ourselves is not real. So step number 1 is convincing yourself that the truth is a lie. That is really the easy part. The tricky part is now creating a lie that we can believe is the truth. But even though that is more difficult, our nature is such that we are able to invent theories or apply different philosophies so that we can make ourselves look virtuous and restore that vision that we had of our perfect self. When we are successful in that, we then begin attempting to convince others that this is true. We create a false image of ourselves based on this lie. We talk as if we are absolutely sincere. We will even find ways to be self-deprecating, and all of this will be a game to try to prove to the world that we are someone that we are not. We all do this. You may say, "I never invented such an elaborate lie." Oh, but yes, you have. Your elaborate lie was not invented in a day, a month, or even a year. You formed your lie through small, little lies. Things such as believing that you are hardworking and not lazy, or talking about how you are attempting to organize your life and making people want to be like you. Although you know that you try to be organized and diligent, in reality, for the past 3 years, it hasn't worked at all. You've created an image of yourself as a hardworking, organized, and diligent person who never procrastinates and always gets things done on time. Except when people begin getting close to you, they start realizing that you are not all that you have made yourself to be. You may have created an image of success. You don't really make that much more than most people, but you always have one of the newest phone models. You buy new shoes regularly, and your car is the best of your group of friends. But little does anyone know how deep in debt you really are in an attempt to keep your image. The most deep-seated lies, though, are the ones that have to do with your character. You make yourself seem like a faithful person, like a very faithful person, but you are far from it. You talk about faith as this fantastic and glorious idea. You harshly criticize people who don't care, who don't keep their promises. You say, how could someone say one thing and yet turn around and do something completely different from what they said? In those words, you condemn yourself. Romans chapter 2, verse 1 says, "Therefore, you have no excuse, O man, every one of you who judges. For in passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself, because you, the judge, practice the very same things." Although you stand up for faithfulness, you fail to attain the standard you so valiantly stand for. When it comes to promising someone something, you promise from the bottom of your heart. But when it comes to fulfilling that promise, you create a labyrinth of excuses to justify yourself in the situation. I'm sorry, I didn't pay you back. I know I said I would do it, but my customer just hasn't paid me yet for the work that I did last month. Well, if you couldn't guarantee you'd keep the promise, you shouldn't have made it. Sincerity. The people that draw the attention of God are those who are sincere. In moments of failure, honest people fess up to their fault, holding no truth back. In critical times, when they know it could hurt them the most, sincere people speak the truth the way it is, fully understanding the consequences that could follow. To those sort of people, God is, quote, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness, keeping steadfast love for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin. Exodus 34, 6-7. But those who keep back the truth and continue to walk according to their lies and continue to hide behind their fragile veneer, he says that he will by no means clear the guilty, visiting iniquity of the fathers on the children and the children's children to the third and fourth generation. Exodus chapter 34, verse 7, the second half. In all things, sincerity and honesty before God are essential. This sort of sincere attitude is only possible if we become free from the idol of self. Adam and Eve's sin did not begin when they ate the fruit. It began when they believed the words, "When you eat of it, the fruit, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Genesis chapter 3, verse 5. We make terrible gods, and in our attempt to be gods, we ruin everything. Sincerity comes from humility. Humility is knowing that no matter who you are, your title, or how significant your accomplishments are, you are still a fallible human being who makes mistakes. Humility leads us to understand our need before God, and that without Him, we are unable to do anything or be anything other than sinners, even if we are successful by the world's standards. Humility leads us to our knees before God and the ability to say, "Lord, I need you. Without you, I can do nothing." That is sincerity. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. Thank you.